Well, during my first playthrough, I obviously chose Mia because, she's my wife, the love of my life, the peach in my pie, the cream in my coffee. I actually did feel sad for Zoe since she's really, really bitter you didn't choose her. Although, on my second playthrough, I chose Zoe, and Mia isn't exactly as upset as Zoe, but it does kind of suck. Zoe actually dies, so what was the point of choosing her anyways? Oh yeah, just to change the ending and get that achievement or that trophy. Right now, here, in my honest opinion, is where I think the game just kind of goes a bit downhill. Like, I love the mansion, I love the guest house, I love the basement, because that was like genuine scary shit, but we're inside a spooky ship. But, okay, don't get me wrong. The ship is definitely very spooky, but it just kind of seems out of place. Like, it reminds me of Resident Evil Revelations, where most of the game was on a ship. So this time you play as Mia. You go back to 2014 when this all kind of happened. Your crewmate Alan is responsible for releasing Evelyn, and you actually learn what Evelyn's abilities are. Like, she's this little girl who turns people into molded creatures so she can make her family. God, she's creepy as fuck. Yeah, and I also thought the ship really dragged because you have to go from floor A, floor B, get this thing here, get some corrosive to melt the doors and the locks, there's a shit ton of molded, then you have to do this really, really pointless paint puzzle. Like, what's the point? Just have the item there because, this puzzle wasn't as cool as making those cool shapes in the shadows and shit, And then after this, Evelyn calls Mia Mommy. You know what? I don't need you anymore. I can make Ethan love you, and we can all be a family, but you know what? Fuck you, Mommy. Fuck you. Oh, and I'm going to turn your friend Alan into a disgusting molded creature. Although it is pretty crazy, when you try to get one of the plugs for the elevator, that fucking fat molded comes. Although it's cool in this stage, you actually get remote mine, so you can kind of set one on the ground, have one of the big fatsos walk over, and you can just blow them away. And then we get some kind of flashback with Jack Baker saying, "Hey, we were innocent people. I wish you were innocent before I met you. Like, you tried to chop off my leg with a shovel, which you actually did, and you tried to kill me with some gigantic ass spike bat, and then you drove my car in circles, crashing it. You owe me insurance on that. And then you turn into this gigantic ass alligator molded creature trying to kill me. But okay, I'll believe you, Jack." So Evelyn took over the Baker family, so they're innocent victims. The struggle of the innocent victim turned bad. It's not their fault. Well, you just kidnapped like over 30 people and either killed them or turned them into these disgusting green monsters, but I'm gonna get a lighter sentence, right? Right, officer? Okay, now depending if you chose Mia or Zoe. If you chose Zoe, Mia gets infected again and she tries to kill you, but then you have to kill her, and then Mia finally dies, which really sucks because that was the whole point of the game. Although if you choose Mia, she tries to fend off Evelyn for a while, but sends you back outside. Mia! No! Although if Mia had the serum, she shouldn't really have any worries about being infected. But can she get infected again? And then once you're done, you go outside and you see all the fish and you're like, that's a lot of fish. And what's pretty cool about this cabin is you get a radio transmission saying, oh, hey, the mercenaries are going after Lucas inside the tunnels, so we'll definitely get to see what happens to Lucas in the DLC. Actually, what does kind of suck is we don't get any resolution to Lucas in the final game. And then we go into the salt mines. Are these things full of salt? Tons of molded, and I remember actually pushing down that cart to just kill the molded like that, and then you go inside the lab, but then you find an email from Lucas Baker saying, oh hey, that bitch Evelyn was trying to control me. I was pretending, but I was like, hey Evelyn, what do you want me to do today? I want you to kill people. Okay, I'm gonna kill people. Not. Although Lucas did kill a lot of people, because remember, he's a bad seed. Well, luckily the mines are not really that long, although those two molded at the end can be a little difficult, so I opted to kill them, but in Madhouse mode. I'll talk about that later. And we're finally out of the fucking mines. Oh, great, thanks for giving me the map to the mines after I was done with the mines. Then we go back to the old house. We go back to the old killing grounds. And we see flashbacks of Mia, chainsawing my arm off, which Zoe gave it back to me, Mia. Just letting you know. And then we find out who the final boss is.
You.
Why does everyone hate me?
Grandma? I totally fucking called it! Grandma was gonna be the last boss of Resident Evil 7. I fucking knew it! Who actually reveals to be Evelyn in an old state because Evelyn needed to get medication to keep her powers and her age under check, and she actually aged 25 times faster than the normal human. Now luckily Evelyn isn't really that hard, you just have to unload ammo on her. Like, I just had the machine gun, unloaded ammo on her on that, and when I ran out of that I used a shotgun. And then after that you go outside where you see the mercenaries drop you a gun and saying, "Use this!" It's the Albert 01. Albert Wesker lives! Of course I'm Albert Wesker. My legacy was left behind with my guns. Complete global shooteration. And of course we are rescued by the Umbrella Corporation? Like, did Umbrella turn good? I thought they've collapsed. I thought they were out of business. And let's not count that really shitty game that came out before this. But hey, Umbrella's back. Are they good guys now? They got a blue logo. Are they turning over a new leaf? Redfield? You mean Chris Redfield? Wait, you don't look anything like Chris Redfield. A lot of people are kind of debating whether this is the real Chris Redfield or some imposter just taking his name. And I have to go with the imposter taking his name because, you know, Chris is in that movie Vendetta where he looks almost the same like Resident Evil 6. So, yeah, I think this guy's just a mercenary calling himself Chris Redfield. Yeah, because you can just Google your own name. Like, I Googled Ryan Molina. I mean, I have my own IMDb page. It's like, yes, this is the correct one. You know, there's a Ryan Molina as a successful architect. There's another one who's married to a really hot chick, and another one who got married to a really hot chick. And there's also the Ryan Molina who was arrested for meth in Florida. Yeah, I confess, that was totally me. But yeah, I think people are really making this to be more of a big deal than it already is. Like, it's very, very obvious that this is not the Chris Redfield we all know and love. It's probably just a guy assuming his name. So my first time through this game was about a little over 11 hours, but then my next playthrough, I did it on easy, so I can actually get the circular saw and the x-ray glasses if I beat the game under 4 hours. And plus it was a lot easier because I had the Albert gun. And then I attempted Madhouse mode. Yeah, because in Madhouse mode, I actually died to Mia at the beginning with the chainsaw about 3 times. Because there was one time she actually landed right behind me and just slashed me from behind. And I actually ran out of bullets, so I had to use the axe to kill her. And I was reading online, a lot of people died to her like 11 times, 12 times, 20 times. Yeah, she is that hard. And also, like, when you're trying to escape Jack in the house, he's like running like an Olympic runner. Like he will catch the fuck up with you. Well, but luckily I had the circular saw and x-ray glasses, so most of it wasn't too bad, but it was pretty crazy having to fight 2 fat molded in the barn, 2 fat molded in the ship, and that last part before you go back into the old house in the mines, with the 2 fat molded, they have traps on the ladder. Like, you basically have to try to stun them and go up, but I could never do it. But I did exploit a glitch where I just hid myself in the corner down in the stairs before they come to you, and then they all come to you, and you can just shoot them in the head like multiple times. That was the only way I was able to beat it. But luckily Evelyn wasn't too difficult to beat in Madhouse mode, and then when you unlock Madhouse mode you have infinite ammo, which is so cool, which most of this footage has because that's what I recorded it off from. And also I tried to play another game on easy so I can get the achievement to only open 3 item boxes, and I only opened it right after my first encounter with Jack when I go into the laundry room, and then both times when Lucas tells you to put your stuff away and get it back. And also I was actually able to platinum this entire game. I mean, it's not a super difficult game to platinum, but it does take a bit of time, so you just gotta be really patient. And so the ending, so depending on who you choose, you know, Mia is going to be alive, or if you chose Zoe, Mia's dead, and you just throw away your phone with her message on it as you move on. But I'll take the canon ending as Mia surviving, and Ethan's all, when one door closes, another opens. And that door is the DLC! So I also bought the season pass with this game with the DLC, which is actually really cool. Like, I did enjoy Nightmare Mode with Clancy down in the basement, and I actually beat both that and Night Terror. But yeah, it's actually pretty fun if you play it. Like, you know, your poor Clancy, oh man, poor Clancy does not get a break from any of this. And he's trying to survive his way just shooting Molded all downstairs. And with the occasional fat Molded and Jack. Although the problem is if you unlock the circular saw, you're gonna not have a big enough score. And then Ethan Must Die, which is a mode where you can only get hit like 2 times and you have to kill Marguerite in the greenhouse. Right now, the farthest I can get to it is when I go back inside the rec room, but that's after a lot of trial and error. And there's just so many times you can mess up, and you know the boxes are always random, so you can't really watch a playthrough on YouTube and expect to get the same items. And then the next part of the DLC on banned footage was Bedroom, which you also get to play in VR too. Like, you know, your poor Clancy, you know, who still can't catch a break. Hey, I'm in this nice bed. I'm in the fucking master bedroom. Oh, hey Marguerite, you're serving me human guts that are infected with mold. You get to play Daughters, which is really cool because you get to play as Zoe and you get to see what the house was like before, you know, Evelyn came over and before they messed it up. Like, you get to explore a really, really clean house. Although I do admit this is very short, it had so much potential to be longer, but the good news is there's 2 endings, depending whether you get the dog hit to go out in the yard or you try to escape from the front. You know, both endings are actually pretty good, although, you know, I prefer the actual ending where you go outside and then you see Mia inside the trailer. Although it is pretty crazy when, you know, Jack and Marguerite are dragging Zoe, gotta meet your new sister! No! Next part of the banned footage to 21, well, it's kind of blackjack, kind of not, mostly blackjack because, yeah, like you have to get to 21, but the problem is you only have 11 cards in the deck, so you're just playing with literally like 1/4 of a deck, and there's no, like, you know, clubs, spades, or hearts. Although it is a bit kind of sad, you know, your fingers get chopped off and then you get electrocuted and then your face gets buzzsawed and, you know, Hoffman across from you is like, sorry dude, I don't care about you. I need to get back to my wife and daughter, so fuck off and just die for me, please. And then what sucks about 21 survival is like the first 5 opponents are easy, although it's pretty creepy. Hoffman turns into a Molded, and then the computer really fucking cheats with all the trump cards. Like, if you waste all your good trump cards, like, the opponent is gonna choose shit like, hey, draw the highest card in the deck even though you have 21. Fuck you. Yeah, I still haven't beaten this mode to this day. I mean, I've beaten regular 21, but, like, you know, 21 plus survival just really fucking sucks. And then the best one of all, Jack's 55th birthday! Happy birthday, Jack! Oh, look at those Molded! They're invited to the party with their party hats. Molded with party hats. Yay! Yeah, Jack's 55th birthday is kind of the closest we have to mercenaries. Like, you have to kill, like, the Molded and to get more time and feed Jack food. It's a fun, lighthearted, fun game. So, at the time of this recording, the Not a Hero DLC, which features Chris Redfield, is going to be released for free, and then there's going to be one more story DLC. I mean, I really hope it actually covers what happens to Zoe after the boathouse and you choose Mia, but, you know, time will tell. Yeah, so Resident Evil 7, like, I was, like, kind of skeptical about the whole first-person thing, but no, the first-person thing really worked well for this game because it's just so immersive. Like, look around, it's just like you're in that house. And especially if you're playing it in PlayStation VR, you are in that house, man. Like, I remember playing this and, like, thinking, am I in the real world or not? I better take this off and just, you know, just kind of take a peek down at the floor because this is just a game. No, this feels very fucking real. Although I do have some problems with the game, and while I do love the game, I don't think it's really Game of the Year contender like Resident Evil 4 was, and for 2017 it might not even match up to Zelda Breath of the Wild or Horizon Zero Dawn, which I both have. because I honestly do think that the ship level, while spooky, is still a bit out of place. Like, I kind of wish that the Baker Mansion was a lot bigger, just have a lab underground, kind of like the first Resident Evil game, and then have the salt mines. Like, if you really wanted to pay a homage to the first game, let's try doing that. I really wanted a bigger Baker Mansion. I mean, I think the Baker Mansion is pretty much the same size as the Spencer one in Lost in Nightmares, and that wasn't really long to begin with. Like, I would have liked to explore, like, really, really long-ass corridors, and really, really dark, spooky environments. And also, another gripe I have with this game is the enemy variety. Like, we pretty much only get the Bakers and the Molded and the Bugs. Like, I mean, Louisiana has a lot of crazy-ass wildlife. Like, why couldn't we get, like, molded birds? Like the fucking dead crows they were, like, molded bulls and cows. Yeah, I mean, even though we had bugs, but why couldn't they be, like, giant molded bugs or even molded dogs? We see, like, a dog die, like, in the preview. And what would have been crazy is we could have gotten, like, molded alligators. Like, a big molded alligator fight. Although Jack Baker kind of makes up for that one, though. Yeah, I mean, it would have been really cool to also have, like the cop, David Anderson. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention his name. Like, having him just, like, kind of walk towards you as a molded, like, he can't talk anymore, but he's, like, speaking in, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, and have him be, like, a special boss, like, the David Anderson cop molded fight. And also, I know we will figure out what happens to Lucas in the DLC, but yeah, you don't really get to fight the guy. Like, I was thinking Lucas was going to be that boss that hops on the ceiling, he crawls around and, just attacks you and shit. But we'll probably get to see a lot of his abilities in the DLC. Although, the really good thing about this game is, it does work as a standalone title. Like, you don't really need to play the past Resident Evils to understand this game. I mean, it's very loosely connected. I mean, there are a lot of references to a lot of the past games for fan service, but if this is like your first time playing a Resident Evil game and you start with 7, like, you're not gonna be lost at all because, like, you're probably gonna think, yeah, hey, the Umbrella Corporation's more of a mercenary corporation, and, and all these references, I don't understand who Clive O'Brien or Alyssa Ashcroft is, but maybe they're people of importance. You know what? I'll just go on Wikipedia and look it all up. And YouTube too, to watch videos of the old games. Yeah, and our protagonist Ethan, he doesn't really say a lot, but he does get a nice one-liner here and there. Yeah, because I read in an interview with the Capcom developers, they wanted Ethan to be you. Like, most of the time, it's really your reactions to the environment. Like, Ethan, yeah, he does say a thing here or two, and you really don't get to see his face that much. But yeah, Ethan is basically you and your reactions. And that's actually pretty cool. Yeah, so Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Like, I just can't say enough great things about this game, aside from, the ship level and, the lack of enemy variety. But still, man, you really, really need to play this in PlayStation VR. Like, trust me, it's 100% worth it. Alright, so that wraps up this episode of awesome video game memories about Resident Evil 7. And if you have any memories about this game, make sure to leave those in the comments below. Take care. So go tell Aunt Rhody that you're gonna play this game.
Hey guys, wanna see us play games? Check us out at twitch.tv/BattleGeekPlus.